Welcome to Called Voices in STEM, the podcast that highlights the experiences, challenges, and career stories of women in STEM. Join us as we explore the stories of these inspiring women and learn more about the diverse contributions they are making to the world of science. Here is your host, Dr. Chloe Lim.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Chloe Lim and you're listening to Called Voices in STEM, a podcast that highlights the experience, challenges, and career stories of culturally and linguistically diverse women in STEM. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land throughout Australia and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and acknowledge the deep contribution that they make to the life of our city and our region. In this episode of the Called Voices in STEM podcast, I'm very excited and honored to have Khin Kha with me today as our podcast guest. Khin is an IT professional, cultural diversity champion, documentary filmmaker, and Asia 21 Next Generation Leaders nominee. She co-founded Phoenix Sisters, a volunteer-based network that aims to help people and organizations understand and cultivate their cultural intelligence through professional development conferences, career workshops, and mentoring programs. Phoenix Sisters won the 2021 Beyond Bank Great Ideas Community Grant and hosted the Be Your Best conference in May 2022. She also co-founded Kumudra Foundation, a not-for-profit organization that supports access to healthcare in Myanmar, focusing on disadvantaged community members. She is currently finalizing a documentary on Myanmar orphan children. Welcome, Khin, to our podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is my absolute pleasure. So, tell me a little bit more about your background and how you became interested in STEM.
Yes. So I'll introduce myself again. My name is Khin Kha, and I'm originally from Myanmar and also known as Burma. I moved to Australia in the year of 2000 to study and stay here ever since. If I answer this question honestly, I studied IT to get a permanent residency, basically. We refer to Australia as heaven because not everyone gets to stay here. It's really hard for us to get a permanent residency, and the next level harder if you want to become a citizen. So we came here with the intention to live here, basically. And then what that means is we explored all the options for us, how we could stay here. So one of the options was to look at skilled visa, migrant visa. And so for us students, we look at, okay, what profession can we get into? And so for me, it was IT because so when I came here, I did year 10 and 11, and through those 2 years, I found out I was good at physics and maths. And so I started looking, what can I study with those two subjects and also give me a permanent residency at the end of it? So it looked like IT was in high demand when I came here. So that's year 2023 years ago, still the same because what we do, we can't do it without computers. So that's how I fell into IT. And so anything else, so that's why I've been there. And since I started with IT support role, basically, answering and fixing and doing maintenance of computers. And what I found was I was better with people than actually spending heaps of time with computers because I'm not naturally. Some people can just whisper to the computers. I don't have that. I can whisper to people, I found better than the computers. So I started, so first I did bachelor's in IT, which was more focusing on computers. And then I did my master's in information systems. That's the degree that sort of looks at both business and IT side of things. So that's where I did better because I was able to use my soft skills, people skills. And so I got into business analysis sort of side of IT. And now I'm working as digital strategist at Deloitte Digital at the moment. Yeah, that's about my background. And I am a mom of two. So I'm currently on maternity leave and going back to work next week. Wish me luck.
That's quick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been 7 months. Like, how did that happen? Yeah.
Oh, I know maternity leave goes by very quickly, especially when you have more than one child, I think.
Yes. Gosh. The children
Yeah.
are fine. They're fine. I'm like, I'm not ready.
Oh, yeah. Children can be so much more resilient than us sometimes. They're actually very adaptable and flexible, a lot more than we
That's
give them
right.
credit for.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. So I'm curious, you said that you were good at physics and maths, and so that made you think about moving into IT. What
Yes.
was it about physics and maths that really intrigued you?
I think it's my brain that works that way. My brain doesn't work with cooking and directions. My brain just works with numbers so for some reason. But I have a
Yeah.
limitation with numbers. I'm not good with like accounting. I don't know. So I just stick with what I know. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing that was important. So yes, I was exploring options to study and also what I explored through, I think at schools they had open days. I think
Mm,
when universities visited schools, and I
yes.
found out that there was an opportunity for scholarship at the university that I
Mm,
wanted to go to. And I just
mm,
knew, okay, this is the part that I wanted. These are the grades that I needed to get in. And that was it. I was set. And that was my plan. And I just made sure I got all the grades and all the
mm,
requirements to get that. And I got it, a scholarship at Bonn University to study IT. And I wanted to mention that because people don't know
mm.
that and they don't pursue it, but they're out there if you look out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to go overseas to study if I did not have a scholarship
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, so I think it's so important to not limit yourself, because I know that especially for international students, it can be
That's
very
right.
expensive to study overseas.
Yeah.
And so if they really have that dream of wanting to study overseas, then really exploring the option of scholarships, looking out for what are the possible funding avenues that are there. There's all sorts of different scholarships to
That's
study at
right.
different places. And I
Yeah.
think like what you said, it's a matter of finding out what are the requirements, what are the grades I need, how can I get into this scholarship, and how can I get into this university,
That's right.
and using that as a way to set a goal for themselves to
That's
reach,
right.
so that they can then achieve their dream of studying overseas in
Yes.
that prestigious university that they want to
Yeah.
be in.
Yes.
So I think it is very important. Like I wouldn't have been able to study overseas if I didn't have a scholarship. So
Mm,
I think scholarships are a huge confidence booster as well, because it
that's
also
right.
shows that you can do this. They think
That's
that you
right.
are good enough to pursue a university education, and they
Mm,
believe that you're going to make something out of that time that you're going to be at university as well.
mm.
So it's really, really important. I'm really thankful that you decided to share that with us as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's also like there's no plan. I came as an international student, and that doesn't stop there, right? I found this opportunity while I was studying at year 11 at high school. And so those are available to international students. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So don't stop looking if you want to
Yeah,
do
that's
something.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Don't think,
right.
can I do this? But think of how can I do this, hey?
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you share now? That's one thing I would say that would be a huge achievement that you're proud of. Is there another project or achievement that you're particularly proud of in your STEM career?
Oh, yes, definitely. So I've been working in IT for more than 10 years now. So starting as the IT support that I mentioned. And now it was 2 years ago, I was working for Department of Health and I
Mhm.
was in aged care sector. And I was responsible as a Scrum Master. So, for those who don't know, Scrum Master is similar to project manager, but we use agile methodology. So that means we use sprints. Anyways, I won't bore you with those details. Anyways, I was responsible for project. It's called Ribbits. It stands for Risk-Based Targeting and Information Sharing Project. So what that does, is the government's still using it, is they collected all the data of aged care service providers all across Australia. And then they use the data to sort of predict and to see where the high risk areas in terms of quality, safety, and compliance. And so you can see as a regulator and also risk assessor, hey, these incidents are happening in these areas. So they can focus their funds and send their assessors to that area. They can sort of update their policies, standards. And so it's risk-based targeting, and they're not doing it blindly anymore. So it's an analytical tool. So I worked on that. So having the first version and second version, I was part of the team who did the analytical part of the application. So I'm very proud of that. And because of that, our seniors, they're not the most cared for, in my opinion. People forget about them. So at least this is my way of giving back and thanking, because I lost my dad, and I dedicate that for my dad doing that work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's quite challenging, isn't it? Because a lot of the times when I meet seniors, loneliness tends to be an issue for them. Sometimes they don't have family around, a family not in the same city. And I think it's very hard. It's very hard to live on your own and to not have someone to talk to. So
Yes.
I think there's so much more that we can be doing for people who are living on their own, especially the senior citizens. Yeah, I've met a few. And I think what they crave is really company and conversation.
That's right.
And yeah, and I know the Red Cross does they have a good program, a volunteer program where people who would like to do something with their time and something meaningful with their time, they could reach out to the Red Cross and join this volunteer program to be a companion for senior citizens. So no, I think I think that's a really important project that you've been
that's right.
part of.
I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
That's right. Because
That's
they get exploited. Like, if you don't get, we're living in a country like Australia where everything is monitored, where regulations are in place to protect every citizen, every person. Even then, there are expectations. Even then, there's people who break the law. Anyway, so I'm very proud of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think, I think when you're working in government, there's that sense that you are making a difference. And I think that project definitely made a difference for people, hey?
Yeah.
So what have been, in your, more than 10 years of working in IT, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced?
I would say I wasn't like this my first job. Given that I was here when I was 15, gives me advantage over people who came here when they're in their 20s or 30s, because I'm at that age where I'm soaking everything in, but not that young anymore. So 15 at high school. So you can hear my accent I didn't have the accent. I didn't keep my Burmese accent. So that is an advantage. And then the fact that I get to be in Australian culture that early meant that, there was some teething period where, you have to say hi to a bus driver. Back home, you don't make eye contact. You don't say hi to a stranger. It's just, you don't do that unless you know them or you want something from them. So Australian people, in that sense, I'm positive. I'm a glass half full person. It's just like, they're so nice. And from day one, I understand that's what you do. And I'm not saying the fact that I haven't faced racism. It doesn't, for me, they don't know better. They do not know better. So I can show you all the examples, bad examples of what people have said or done. But at the end of the day, they don't mean it because they don't know it. If they're coming towards you and being really aggressive and attacking you, that's a different story. Most of the time, it's through their ignorance that they didn't know that that's an inappropriate thing to say. And so for those things, I just take it out of my system, because I don't respond well to negative energy. So I just okay, I forgive this person. He has no idea. I'll give you an example why and what it is. I was working for that. It's a engineering company, and it's huge. It's both in Australia, America. The CEO of the company, I was fixing his computer. And then I told him, my dad is coming over. He's migrating to the country. And he asked me if he was coming with the boat. So I'm like, I didn't know what to say. I was just like,
oh dear.
No, he's coming with the plane, I said. And then he said, I just assumed Burmese people just came with boats.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm just like, and then he's a CEO.
Oh,
And
dear.
he's already in his 60s, 70s, whatever. He's quite
Yes.
old. And then
Yes.
I was so angry for so many days, but I didn't act it
Yeah.
out. I didn't do anything. I just
Yeah.
angry. But what part can I take? I could do something and say like this is inappropriate and take it further. But then he's like really old and he's a nice person otherwise. So that's one example. So this person's educated, wealthy, at a high place. They just don't know. You know
Mm,
what I mean?
mm,
So at that job, another thing, like, we would have meetings such as this, and I'll be a person calling in from Canberra, and then people will introduce themselves. Oh, I'm this person from Sydney, I'm this person from Brisbane. And they ask, who is there anyone from Canberra? I didn't have my video on anything. I could not say a thing. My body will be physically shaking to say a thing. And that's how I was at the beginning of my career. Like this
mm,
is all trained. How I am presenting to you is all trained
mm,
because I have high ambitions. I have dreams that I want to pursue, and I want to be a good example for my daughter. That is very important. And therefore, all these fears, all these walls that I had and views, it had to go because my goals are higher than my ego, some of it, right? It's what I want, the outcome I want. So that's what I focus on. And some of these things that I have, I just let it go. So, what I want to say when you ask the question of the biggest challenges is this: if I want to be comfortable, if I want to stick true to myself and be really authentic, I wouldn't be here, to be honest. But
mm.
at the same time, I'm being authentic by being proud of who I am and really sort of pushing myself so that others can see they can be more.
Yeah, I think that's really inspiring. Because I think one of the challenges, I mean, I actually resonated with you there because to me, I felt the same as well, in the sense that sometimes I just don't feel like speaking up. But then I cannot remember an exact point where I felt like I needed to speak up, but somehow I think there's a bigger picture here that I'm trying to achieve as well. Just like what you're trying to say is to be that shining light for others as well. Because one of the challenges we have here is that I guess what you're saying is the lack of role models that are out there to show us that we can have a voice and our voice is important and our voice should be heard. And I admire you for putting yourself aside, putting your ego aside, but focusing on being present for others, being present for your daughters.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm very curious to find out. You said that at one point you said that you didn't want to say a thing, like you shivered, you couldn't say something. But at which point was there a point in time where you said, no, I think I have to speak up? And how did you sort of move through that?
Yes. So I should answer that one. I think through many mistakes, through many trial and errors, right? And it helps when you have supporting people, allies next to you who would help you. And I remember some people would say, Khin, I thought you had something to say. Or Khin, I
Mm.
would like to hear what you want to say. We have these allies. The more you say it, the more you've been encouraged. It becomes easier and easier. And that's part of it. And the other is like, I need to be there. I want to be in that seat, in that boardroom, right? Like, how do you do that? I need to do this, And, of course, there are always bad parts where people will look, roll their eyes, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
Yes.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's so liberating when you don't really care what other people think of you. I think
Mm,
you have that freedom to just be yourself, to just speak
mm,
your mind when other people's opinion of you doesn't matter anymore. And I've heard someone said actually that other people's opinion or thoughts of you is none of your business anyway. So,
mm.
so in a
Well,
way,
yeah,
yeah.
for me, I deeply care about what other people think. For me, I deeply want everyone to like me. It's hard. And so what I start to change my mindset to is like, as long as these few people that I really respect think that I'm doing the right thing, it's good enough. For me, I need that still. It's always been my dad had to approve everything I've done. And for me, he has been that person. And now it's my husband. If he thinks it's right, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I still need that. I've found along the way, I'm 38 this year. So that's what I need. So I know that and I don't deny it. I just do that. It works for me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think similarly, it's the people that we care the most, that we should care, I guess, more of what they say rather than the people who don't know us at all, like complete
that's right.
strangers. Yeah. So no, I completely agree with you with that. So I'm curious, in your industry, maybe you can share a little bit more about how the opportunities are like for culturally diverse women in your industry, and if there's anything that needs to change in that particular industry to create more opportunities for culturally diverse women.
What I'm seeing is we don't have enough. We are desperate to find good and decent people. So that means they need to be skilled. They need to have the right education, qualification, experience. That's the criteria. As when you meet it, you're there. You can get any job you want, but getting there is hard for us. And so people who are even overqualified because they've been there, they haven't been in Australia long enough, is useless, right? Like you need relevant experience and education. So that's one. The second, being in Canberra, if you're somewhere else, it's a different story. But if you're in Canberra, your first requirement in IT, you need to be a citizen. That's also a few years. You need a few years to get that. And permanent residency is not enough because you are working with public data. You're working with, like general public information data. So you need high security clearance, things like that. But anyway, so that's the requirement. And therefore, that's also another barrier for migrant women if they haven't been here long enough. But if you've decided you are living and you're going to live in Canberra, you have to invest this. Don't think twice about this. You need to get your citizenship. And then in the meantime, update your skills, update your qualifications. They are not hard to get your certificates. And by the time you're doing your interviews, you're loaded, you're ready to go. And then also practice your interviews. Practice how you answer your interview questions. We always want to hear and see people who are confident because we are deciding in that room if this person can do the job. And sadly, if you don't have the culturally aware or sensitive person in the room, they're not gonna think, oh, she's just shy, or she must be really qualified but not telling me. No one's going to do that. So you really have to sell yourself and memorize about yourself. What's your best skills? What's your best experience? It's you have to do it. Because I've been on the other side, right? Trying to hire someone, but then I can't. I have to meet them in the middle and they have to meet us in the middle, like meet each other halfway, push and pull sort of thing. So what I've been trying to do is when I'm interviewing, if the person's not really hitting the question like you have, like if they're not really answering the question, I do like prompt questioning and say, what do you mean by that? Or so do you have specific experience doing that? And so help out. Because firstly, everyone's nervous. Even people who grew up with the English speaking background, they're nervous. Even they have trouble answering these questions. So for us, we need to be more prepared, more ready to get these jobs. So from our side who are hiring, there's nothing that's stopping us to hire them. It's just they need to present themselves to us. We need them. Yeah.
So you're saying that it is more up to the individual to really brush up on their skills in not just getting the qualifications needed, but also in their interviewing skills and being able to present themselves in a way that shows their value.
That's
Now,
right.
is there anything in terms of, I guess, from the interviewer's side, being on an interview panel, do you think that there are any particular, I guess, I'm not sure how it's addressed, but in terms of maybe potential unconscious biases that might color the interview process at all? I'm curious. This is just a question that I'm curious about.
So I've seen both. I've seen where, because they're being monitored so carefully, and so they don't want to be seen as unconscious bias anymore. People are putting the effort in front of me, at least. So, yeah. Because they don't want to be thought of as racist either. So people are very worried about that. So they're making the effort in that point. But you need to also help yourself as an interviewee not to fall in those. For example, if you are not confident, if you don't feel confident, you're giving the vibe that you don't know how to do it. So there's a fine line, right? So this person is trying hard to be unconscious bias, but at the same time, he's not getting what he needs as a confident, a person who can do the job vibe. So it's not working, right? I've also seen the other side, which is the other side, meaning when someone's too sensitive and calling someone racist because they didn't want to give a job. But then he said, I can't understand what this person's saying. How is this person going to communicate with the clients?
Yeah, of
So
course.
how do you do that? So there are these things, unsolved things, and then this interview after that, they still hire the person, and we all had the problem. We can't communicate with. We don't understand what this person's saying, but he got hired because we all didn't want to be business.
Oh dear! Oh gosh! So I'm curious. So how did you deal with that situation then? When it's a hire where everyone feel obliged to, but it's actually not the best hire.
We still needed to ask the person to do the job without. So there are many parts of the job, not just communication, but actually doing the job, building application or whatever. If he's good at that, but not communication, it's still good. But it was just miscommunicating every step of the way, and so it just didn't work out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because he didn't understand what we are saying either, and then he's not really.
No.
Yeah. So
yeah. Oh gosh, that is a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trying to find that balance of being objective in your hiring and yet providing that opportunity for the best candidate to come through as well.
That's right.
So that is a challenging thing. So in that case, I mean, you've talked about improving your skills, committing to, I guess, if you're committing to staying, then getting citizenship. But do you have any other advice that you would give to culturally diverse women who wants to pursue a career in STEM or in IT specifically?
Just trust yourself. And something that I've done to myself is I always thought everyone's better than me. I've always done that. So it may be that Burma was colonized, and so it's the fact that we all believe that the Caucasian people were better than us. It's just in our system, right?
Yes.
And so again, IT is a very, now at my age, I think about younger people, and then also thinking about men who would do better at this job in IT. But no, for me, I have my own advantages, my own skills that others may not have. Just own it, like hone in on what it is, your unique advantage, and give that 100%. And so what starts to become is like you become this little gap that no one had that really complemented everyone around you. And so for that reason, because I say that because we always thought the least of ourselves. We never knew our own values and how good we are to the people. So we need to know that, build yourself, and then find your allies. I can't stress enough how important to grow your network, talk to people. It doesn't always have to be like beneficial. Sometimes just how I know you is through Phoenix Sisters. We didn't really do anything for each other. We just know each other because we can just tell we share the same values, and we now doing a podcast together, right? Like just like that. Like it doesn't have to be, oh, I have to know this person because of this. Nothing like that. It's a small community. We just help out each other, grow your network. And what starts to happen is as your career progress, they start to headhunt you, or you do a favor to someone and then it turns out someone else getting a job, or it's just really great for the community. You just do it because it feels great. You should do it. The growing the network bit, it is daunting going into a room full of strangers. And what I do, I hate it too. What I do is just go to someone who's just standing by themselves, easy target, and then I bore them and they walk away. And then another advice is find someone who looks the opposite to you. If you're short, find a tall person. If you're older, find a young person. If you're Asian, get a Caucasian person. Like find an opposite. Just because you have nothing to lose. That's how I feel with that. So sorry, I talk so much. Please, sorry.
Okay,
I
keep
shouldn't
going.
apologize so much.
No, just keep going. All good.
So I've done these events, these networking occasions, so many of them. And in the past, I've always said, oh, people, they're not nice. They didn't talk to me. Like, they're not that friendly. And then my husband, he asked, did you talk to them? And I said, what do you mean? Did you make an effort to talk to them as well? And then I said, no. And then he said, there you go. You need to also do your bit. And because the other side is also maybe feeling the same way, right? Like this person's not friendly, not making eye contact. So there you go. Yeah, you should think about it because the other person's also in that vulnerable spot. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Well, yeah, I think it's also getting out of our comfort zone, right? Reaching out to a stranger and being open with them about our life and our interests and things like that. And I think people can find that quite intimidating as well, especially if you're an introvert. So if you're an extrovert, it's easy. You can just talk to anyone and you get that energy from people. But introverts, I know, can find it quite challenging to reach out to someone. So even if it's like you said, I think that's a great tip that, just find someone that's completely different from you and just reach out to them. And I think, you find that there's probably some interesting conversations that come from just talking to someone who's so different from you. Yeah. So, and who knows, you might find some common ground too. You never know. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I have a quick question about, so you talked about Phoenix Sisters. I'd love to hear more about what Phoenix Sisters does and how we can find out more about Phoenix Sisters as well, and how we can be supporting your organization too.
Oh, thank you. So Phoenix Sisters, how it was founded was Zainab Farouk and myself. We were working at a consulting firm together. And so what happened was I myself was finding working at that place a bit challenging because every year, of course, you want to go up, you want to be promoted every single year, and you have that one opportunity in June to give that a shot. And working there's so many things you need to do, so many criteria to meet, and I try to get them. Tick, tick, tick. I've got this. I've got feedback from this person. I've done this project. And then, and for 2 years in a row, I didn't get it. I did not get the promotion. And then I was really down, like, why? And looking back on it, it's, I was not, so the feedback I got was I was not seen. I was not heard. No one knew what I was doing. Yeah, people who I work for knew what I was doing, but not the wider, because you're supposed to be celebrity. It's so hard. You're supposed to I've seen people who did well or who doing well. It's just like they have the presence in the room. They just like exert so much energy around it. There's aura. Us mortal people, not everyone has that sort of thing. And I was struggling. So, yeah, and then I talked to Zainab and we both sort of having the same challenges. It's the same thing when I said before doing interviews, because we are not doing us a favor when we talk. We always sit back. There is always this doubt about ourselves, and other person can sense it. They can tell, and they will say, she's not ready. There's something about her. She's not ready for this, right? And they can't tell what it is either. It's not their fault. Now, it used to be angry about it as well. But now I just focus on myself, and I think working on it and believing in it. Once I do, others will start to believe you too, right? So that's how the Phoenix Sisters were born, to coach women, help with their CVs, help with their interviewing skills. And we did a conference last year, and the whole day, it was a 1-day conference. We had panels of all culturally diverse women. I'm so proud of it, because you go to conferences, it's all boring looking people. Not spicy. Not spicy enough, okay? All women, culturally diverse. I'm so proud of it. Or just women in general. I'm so proud of it. So things like that. And the reason is to show women, there are people like us up there. They're CEOs. They're the head of this and head of that. And listen to how they talk. We can be that. And that's the whole idea. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So how can we find out more about Phoenix Sisters?
We have a website and we have a Facebook. So right now, both Zainab and I, I'm finishing my maternity leave, and Zainab just gone into maternity leave. So we've postponed any activities because we've been making babies. So we will start being active again once Zainab is settled. And then I think we'll run this conference every second year.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So we can look forward to it in 2024 then.
Yes, that's right.
Yes,
and if there is anything that PMW and professional women, migrant women,
professional migrant women,
if there are things that we could work together, and for us, because it's just two women at the moment, just the two of us, and so we're much smaller, so we are happy to be collaborating and working with, because we are working towards the same goal, for us to thrive and for us to get up there and make a name for ourselves or make space for other women. So that's the same goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there are a few different organizations, non-profit organizations, that are here to support migrants, and some just women in particular, migrant women in particular as well, or refugees and asylum seekers as well. And I think, collectively, we could do something quite big in Canberra. So maybe one day we could all come together and have this amazing big conference together as well.
Right.
So we can be supporting as many people as we can. Yeah, so that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Khin, for sharing your stories and insights with us today. I mean, we've heard about how your goals, changed from, I guess, your goals were to really find a place for yourself here in Australia, and how you've looked for scholarships to help support you, how you've set that as a goal for yourself as well to achieve, and you did achieve it, getting a scholarship to study in university. Thanks so much for sharing about, some of the challenges that you faced in your workplace, about cultural sensitivities as well. And I think the point that you brought home about the lack of awareness that people have. And I think that's the challenge, isn't it? Is people they don't know what they don't know, like you said.
That's right.
And so part of our role, I think, is to help make them aware of some of the things that are a bit more, they're not comfortable conversations, I think. But I think it helps in the bigger picture of making sure that everyone's culture is appreciated and respected as well. So, and the last thing I guess I wanted to talk about was, I guess, you shared about the tips about really presenting yourself well and brushing up your skills in terms of your qualification, your interview skills, all those sort of things to make you the best candidate that you can be for that particular job you're going after. Yes. And I think that requires people to take personal responsibility to invest in themselves. So sometimes we can always blame the system, but I think what's more important is what are you doing about it rather than, blaming the system. Yeah.
That's right.
So
Because it has so
no.
it's not working for you yet at the moment because it's
Mm.
never been done before. So it is our job to change it. We are
Yes.
the pioneers in this space, so it is our job. And complaining or blaming someone, it won't help. And then do it positively as well. People respond well to positivity, and I'm not ignoring the hardship and the people face. But at the end of the day, you need to hold people's hands, make allies, and the more the merrier. The more people who are supporting you, the better it is for you. And that's how I see it.
Fantastic. Yeah. So thanks again, Khin, for sharing with us. I really appreciate your time and I appreciate your advice and your wisdom here. And, we've reached the end of our show now. So I want to thank you again for coming on to this podcast.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, my pleasure. So we've reached the end of our show. So thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support this podcast, please share it with others or leave a rating and review. If you have any questions about the things we've covered in the show or would like to follow the projects that I'm working on, please find me on Instagram and LinkedIn. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you at the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Called Voices in STEM podcast. Get the show notes, links and resources from today's episode by visiting drchloelim.com.